come the Roosters, the best we've ever seen. The red and white and Roosters, the Eastern Southern team.
Hey everyone, welcome to NRL Live Chat 2.0 Podcast 2024 team wrap up. I'm Breno, I'm here with PJ.
Hey Breno, how you doing today? We're here for someone, you know who it is?
Oh, who's that?
The Rooster Man. We're here for the Rooster Man today because the Roosters came third.
Yes, now we're looking at the third place Sydney Roosters for the 2024 season. Going to break down how they looked and how they might look coming into the 2025. PJ, kick us off with your 17th favourite team, the Sydney Roosters.
Yes, season. One of my favourites. One of the last favourites. But they kicked off the season as the pre-match entertainment for the Rabbitohs game in Las Vegas. Roosters went first, beating... Actually, no, they went second, didn't they? We were the pre-match. That joke doesn't even work. Roosters started off strong, beating the runner-up Broncos in Las Vegas 20-10. And then I thought, wow, they're going to be the real deal this year. They'll beat Manly. And then they lost to Manly. And then they smashed South, who were just in complete disarray at that time of the season. Yeah. And it was a topsy-turvy start, Breno, I must admit. Yeah. Right up until, I think it was round 12. The round 14 bye. Once the Bruisers hit that round 14 bye, and we'll see the graphic in a moment, they just went on a purple patch. They were pumping everyone. Yeah, it was a strong season from the Roosters. Tedesco was on fire. Joey Manu was strong. Sam Walker, a lot of talk mid-season about him being $1 million player. Was my response. As soon as he went out of the team, they fell apart. Yeah. So now I'm thinking maybe he is as good as people think he is.
Yeah, so playing 5 of the top 8 teams the first 7 rounds. It didn't quite start so well, losing 4 of those. Really should have lost to the Knights as well, but only losing 2 games from round 15, giving them the top 4 spot. So they finished in third. 38 points, 16 wins, 8 losses, and difference points of 275. This is the good one, though. Points scored 738 and conceded 463, so scored a lot of points.
Yeah, the Roosters were the best attacking team in the NRL across the regular season. Yeah. 738 points, as you said. Second best was 692 by the Storm. So they're a solid 46 points ahead of the second best. They were 5th in defence, which isn't terrible. But I think, when you look at the draw, you can see a bunch of games, as you just said, early in the season. 21-14 loss to Manly. They had a narrow loss to the Panthers, which isn't really that much of a deal. They lost 30-26 to the Bulldogs, who were starting to hit form around that time. They lost 18-12 to the Storm, again, not a disgrace, and 18-16 to the Cowboys. So when you look at those matches, potentially that's 6, maybe 8 points out of those 10 points the Roosters should have gotten had they been in a bit of form. But they hit form at that round 14 bye and relentless after that.
All right.
Yeah, so as you can see there, Breno, a lot of red in between all the greens. Some good wins in there. They beat the Broncos round 1. They beat them again in round 9, 40-18. They really sent in signals at that point they were going to hit some form. Yeah. Lost to the Sharks, lost to the Cowboys, and then you can see after that round 14 bye, there's a lot of green, man.
A lot of green.
The only loss you can see there, right up until Canberra in the second last round, was to Melbourne in Melbourne, and pretty much everyone lost to Melbourne in Melbourne.
That's right.
Except for Sharks and Dragons.
So the best game for me, poor old Dragons got 102 points put on by the Roosters this year in both their games. So biggest one being on Anzac Day. Roosters absolutely annihilated the Dragons 60-18. And then
I've got the same game for the best game, mate.
I
think the
Roosters
can't
go past that.
Yeah, the Dragons weren't in too bad a form at that point, and that was one of those. Dragons! Yeah, they're always up to this
game. It should have been closer than that. Yeah.
And the Roosters, fair dinkum, hold my beer, put on a show, mate. They put on an absolute show. I don't think we'll ever see 60 on Anzac Day again.
Yeah. They backed it up. They backed it up in round 18, winning 42-12 on the Dragons as well. So gave them a bit of a touch up both times. So that was my best for them. Worst though, it's hard to find a bad game. I've chosen the Storm in round 20. They got beaten 24-8. They beat by one of the only teams that finished in front of them, and the Storm in round 20, I reckon. Only game this year where the Roosters didn't score double digits, losing 24-8, and then made worse by they played in the prelim final. They got smashed there, missing out on the grand final spot, 40-16.
That was going to be my worst loss, Breno, the 48-18 against the Storm in the prelim. But you've got to remember the amount of injuries they had. I know Captain Courageous, Victor Radley came back for that game and played outstanding. Great job. But that for me was probably unfair given the amount of injuries the Roosters hit a couple of weeks earlier. And since, like I said, as soon as they lost Sam Walker and they lost a bunch of other guys as well, Jared Waerea-Hargreaves killed someone again, so he was suspended for 3 weeks. For Thank God he's out of the game. What an absolute grub. But I think it's a bit unfair to pick that game. I'm going to pick the 38-30 to the Sharks, purely because not so much that they lost the game. They let 38 points in. Yeah. Like, they didn't come close to that, except that prelim, to anybody in the competition. You know, the Roosters had just had a demolition of the Warriors the week before. The week before that, they absolutely pumped the Broncos, and the week before that, they pumped the Dragons. Their defence was good, 18 in those 3 games. And then they go and let 38 points in against the Sharks. It's a bit of a touch football match, that one. Even the Sharkies didn't defend too well. Yeah. But for Roosters' standard, which was high this year, I think that would be the one they're going, you know what, that was probably one of the worst losses we've had.
Probably, yeah. Like I said, it was hard to pick a bad one because there aren't many. Even when they lost, they didn't lose by much. So
yeah. Yeah, they were on fire. You know, maybe even the Raiders 14-12 in that second last round, they really needed that win. But Raiders got him. Sam Walker. Geez, he was good this year, wasn't he?
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, lots of points, lots of goals. His short game, kicking game, his long play field position kicking got so much better. You know, it really helped the forwards get up the field and pin the other teams in their end. Tedesco was absolutely sensational this year.
One of his best years, yeah, for sure.
Joey Manu, even Luke Keary to a lesser degree, you know, he was in some good form. Yeah. They lost Brandon Smith a few weeks before they lost Sam Walker, and they kind of you could see the gears starting to slip a little bit, you know. But their forward pack was good, except for, you know, Waerea-Hargreaves, obviously. The Roosters, I think their fans will be pretty happy about this year. Coming up against a Storm in Melbourne in a prelim. Jesus, that's a tough game to win.
Tough draw, yeah.
Then take out 3 or 4 of your best players. It was an unlucky end to the season for the Roosters. And I'm sure no South Sydney fans were delighted at all by that.
So let's take a look at their 2025 next year. What's happening here? They got Chad Townsend coming in from North Queensland. Bit of a good pick up there.
Yeah, well, with Sam Walker out with the ACL, probably I think I'm hearing round 18 is when he'll be back.
Okay.
So it'll be a fair chunk of next season. They had to do something about the halfback position. Now remember, in the losses there, Luke Keary's gone as well.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure what they're doing about a 5'8" next year. They've only signed Chad Townsend to this point. They've lost Sua. They've lost Sua. They've lost Manu, which is their starting 2 centres. They lost Waerea-Hargreaves, thank God, to England. Tupanua's gone to the Bulldogs.
So lost a bit of, lost a few good players there too. Yeah,
that's a couple of $1 million, mate. And they've bought Chad Townsend. So I think the Roosters are sitting on a lot of money. Yes, I'm not sure what they're doing about a 5'8" next year. Sandon Smith came in late. He's predicted to be the 5'8". with Chad Townsend at halfback. But Spencer Linu's starting. Brandon Smith is the number 9, even though he's got a player option, and there's no word that he's going to take that up. I think he also has an ACL.
Yeah, right.
He's also got a serious injury. So Roosters looking a little thin. Roosters looking a little thin next year.
Out a bit. Yeah, they could affect some results.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of.
But they've left Joseph Suali'i go early to Union in return for Mark Nawakananitawasasawi coming early from Union. So a little bit of quid pro quo there for the Roosters. So they'll rush him into the Wallabies team and they'll still get lapped, mate. The Wallabies are absolute disgrace.
Yeah, it's a bit of a headache there for Trent Robinson. Try and sort out his roster for the next season.
Yep. So about next season, Breno, what are you thinking? I'm thinking the Roosters slip to maybe 6th or 7th. I think they still make the finals.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at their forward pack, you know, Nate Butcher, Crichton, Victor Radley, you know, Connor Watson was fantastic this year. They definitely got their money's worth out of him. Yeah. Terrell May on the bench, Egan Butcher on the bench as well. It gets a little bit shaky after that, so there's not a lot of depth there. But I think the Roosters probably come 7th, 6th or 7th.
Okay. Yeah, they'll definitely make the 8, but maybe 5th, 6th, even 7th, in that mid-range of the 8. See what they can do.
We'll do a season preview show, everyone. Just so you know, we'll do a season preview after we see all the off-season movements, and we'll put up what we think our points table is. So make sure you let us know in the comments what you think of the Roosters, how they went this year, and how you think they're going to go next year with their gains and their losses.
Absolutely, yeah. Comment away, everyone. And we're going to come back to the next one. What's the next one going to be?
Well, second last team show. It's the team who lost the grand final, minor premiers, the Melbourne Storm.
They're up next. Make sure you're watching. Thanks for joining us here. Don't forget to comment, share away, and all that sort of stuff. Thanks for joining us. See you in the next one.
See you in the Storm.
Here come the Roosters, but best believe